This is Algebra 2, Lesson 1.3. We're going to talk about square roots. But this lesson is going to be done in a different way. I am going to work problems out on the board, and your job is to get with a partner or several partners and see if you can figure out the rules that I'm using to get the answers that I'm getting. Now, typically, when I give this lesson, I explain everything out in detail, and that's fine. But again, that's not the point of this video. This video is different. This video is to watch me work out a problem and then to engage with someone else and see if you can figure out the rules that I'm using in order to simplify the problem. And so that's the tactic we're going to try in this lesson. Okay? All right. Now, ideally, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be simplifying some expressions. So let me begin with some expressions that I'm going to simplify. Let's first write out the rule. Simplify each expression. And I'm going to begin with the square root of 162. So now as I work through this problem, let's see if you can figure out how I did it. Square root of 2 times 81. Square root of 2 times 9 squared. Square root of 2 times the square root of 9 squared. Square root of 2 times 9. Final answer. 9 square roots of 2. Pause the video, get with a friend, see if you can explain and talk with each other about the steps that I used. All right, let's go ahead and do another one. Here we go. Negative 2 times the square root of 10 times the square root of 8. Let's begin. Negative 2 times the square root of 10 times 8. The square root, or negative 2, times the square root of 5 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Negative 2 times the square root of 5 times the square root of 2 to the 4th. Negative 2 times the square root of 5 times 2 squared. Negative 2 times the square root of 5 times 4. Final answer, negative 8 times the square root of 5. Go ahead and pause the video. The square root of a fraction, 16 over 121. Let's begin. The square root of 16 divided by the square root of 121. The square root of 4 squared divided by the square root of 11 squared. Final answer, 4 divided by 11. Go ahead and pause the video. Negative 18 divided by the square root of 6. Negative 18 times the square root of 6 divided by the square root of 6 squared. Negative 18 times the square root of 6 divided by 6. Final answer, negative 3 square roots of 6. Pause the video. Two square roots of 5 divided by the square root of 12. Let's begin. Two square roots of 5 times the square root of 12 divided by the square root of 12 squared. Two square roots of 5 times 12 divided by 12. The square root of 5 times 3 times 4 divided by 6. The square root of 15 times the square root of 2 squared divided by 6. The square root of 15 times 2 divided by 6. Final answer, the square root of 15 divided by 3. Pause the video. The square root of 11 divided by 5 square roots of 32. The square root of 11 divided by 5 square roots of 2, square root of 16. The square root of 11 divided by 5 square roots of 2, square roots of 4 squared. The square root of 11 divided by 5 square roots of 2 times 4. The square root of 11 divided by 20 square roots of 2. The square root of 22 divided by 20 square roots of 2 squared. The square root of 22 divided by 20 times 2. Final answer. The square root of 22 divided by 40. Pause the video. Four square roots of 3 minus 9 square roots of 27. Let's begin. Four square roots of 3 minus 9 square root of 3 times the square root of 9. Four square roots of 3 minus 9 square roots of 3 times 3. Four square roots of 3 minus 27 square roots of 3. Final answer? Negative 23 square roots of 3. One more. The square root of 45 plus the square root of 20. Square root of 9 times 5 plus the square root of 4 times 5. square root of 3 squared times 5 plus the square root of 2 squared times 5. The square root of 3 squared times 5 times, or plus, the square root of 2 squared times the square root of 5. Three square roots of 5 plus 2 square roots of 5. Final answer? 5 square roots of 5. Remember, the objective of this lesson was not to explain everything detail for detail, but to see if you could follow through and then on your own see the rules that I was using so that you could see those on your own without having me to explain them. Nothing wrong with doing a full lesson explaining one by one. This is more of an experimental video. That's it. God bless you, wherever you are today.